Alright, so in this video, we're going to be doing a short tutorial on a multiplication times table. So in this times table, we're going to just have the numbers 1 through 5. And in doing this, hopefully you guys are able to use this for larger numbers. And yeah, hopefully you guys are able to start practicing multiplication this way. So I guess the reason why a multiplication times table is good is because it lets you see patterns with numbers. And when you see patterns with numbers, you don't have to try to, count out all the little blocks that you might make in your head. But instead, you just focus on the pattern and the numbers themselves, and it helps you do things in your head more when you might actually need to do math if you ever need to calculate something. So this is our times table, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the top and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left side. So what this means is we're going to be doing 1 here times 1. So 1 times 1 equals 1. And what that means is that we have 1 block of 1. That is what 1 times 1 means. Now, if we do 2 times 1, that would mean that we have 2 blocks of 1. And if we have 2 blocks of 1, we have 1, 2. So we have 2 total blocks. So that makes our answer here a 2. Now, 3 times 1 would be 3 blocks of 1. And 3 blocks of 1 would be 1 plus 1 plus 1, which equals 3. 4 blocks of 1 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 yellow blocks total. And that would make that a 4. And now, with 5 blocks of 1, we would have 5 total blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 here. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 5 is 5. Now we're going to be doing 2's. And our first question is going to be 2 times 1. So when we have 2 times 1, it's the same that we have 2 blocks of 1, or 2 groups of 1. It's by groups, really. And 2 groups of 1 would be 2. Now we're going to have 2 times 2. So that would mean that we have 2 groups of 2. So when we have 2 groups of 2, what that means is, as I set up the block area down here, Alright, so we have 2 blocks. Alright, we're going to just use these ones because these ones are actually separated already. So this is one group. This is one group of 2 right here. Alright, that I'm pointing to. This is one group of 2. And this is another group of 2. This is another group of 2 right here. So one group of 2, 2 groups of 2. And this is 2 times 2 in blocks. And when we have 2 groups of 2, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks total. So we'd have a 4 here. Now, if we have 3 groups of 2, how many blocks are there total? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups, 6 blocks total. So 2 times 3, 2 groups of 3 is 6. Now, if we have 4 groups of 2, we'd have 2 times 4, and that equals 8. Now, if we have 5 groups of 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you look at these numbers, you can kind of see a pattern. Alright? So, I'm just going to make this a double line to show that there's these numbers on the top side here are the ones that are being multiplied, and these ones on the left are the ones that are being multiplied. So the pattern is that for ones, whenever you multiply 1 by something, it's always that number. So whenever you have one group of anything, it's going to be one group of the total, the answer is going to be the number that you're multiplying it by. So 1 times 389, so 1 times that is going to be 389. So whatever number is here in this area, in this circle, whenever you're multiplying that by 1, it's always going to be the same number below. So, and then for 2's, instead of counting up by the same value, 2 times 1, because we're multiplying it by 1, is going to be 2. Because of the rule that for ones, whenever you multiply something by 1, it's going to be itself. So 2 times 1 is 2. Now 2 times 2, now we have 2 groups of 2, and what we can see is a pattern that from 2 times 1 to 2 times 2, there's a difference of 2. So 4 minus 2 equals 2. And in that same way, 6, which is the answer right here, minus 4, which is the answer right here, equals 2. So whenever you're counting or multiplying with 2's, it will be 2 higher than the answer before it. So based on this, I'd like you guys to try and find out what 2 times 6 equals. So go ahead and pause the video, and based on these blocks we have here, what do you think that 2 times 6 would equal? So pause the video, give it a try, and then unpause. Alright, so the answer for 2 times 6 would be that we have 5 groups of 2 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, sections of 2 blocks. So if we add another section right here, we would have 12 blocks total when combined together. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that would be our answer, is 2 times 6 equals 12. Alright, so now doing 3's. 3 times 1, because it's times 1, it'll always equal 3. Now, we do 3 times 2. And the thing about multiplication tables is that some answers are repeated. So as you can see, this 3 times this 2 is always going to be the same as this 2 times this 3. In multiplication, it doesn't matter which order you put the numbers when you only are multiplying 2 numbers to each other. So the number would be 6. And I guess this is something I should have clarified earlier, but in this table, all of the numbers here in this section right here are all going to be multiplied by 1. And in the same way, all of these numbers right here are all multiplied by 1. And so if we wanted to find out what 4 times 4 was, we'd go 4 here, and then it would meet with this other 4 here. And that's why we're putting the specific numbers in these boxes. Alright, just had to say that. So we've already done 3 times 2, because that was in this box right here, is a 3 times a 2, and then we have a 2 times a 3. So going back to the blocks, we have two groups of 3 is now our equation here, and that's how we got 6. Is that we have 2 groups of 3. So we have one group of 3 here, and one group of 3 there. And the total amount of blocks is 6. Now, if we were to do 3 times 3, we'd need 3 groups of 3. So here's one group of 3, here's 2 groups of 3, second group of 3, and here's a third group of 3. Now if we add all of the blocks together, we would get 9 blocks total. Now we could do 4 groups of 3, which would be 3 times 4, and that would give us 12 blocks total. So, if you continue this pattern, you'll notice that the difference between each time you multiply something by 3, if you 3 times 1, the difference between 3 times 2, which is 6, and 3 times 3, which is 9, the difference is 3. And every single time we multiply it by 3, every single time we multiply 3 by a larger number, our product has a value that's 3 units higher. So 12 plus 3 is 15. And that's how we know, and that's a way to verify and make sure that 3 times 5 is 15 is by adding 3 to the 12 right here. So for 4s and 5s, for these following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, for these 10 boxes, I'd like you guys to try and figure out what numbers would go where based on what we've done so far. And feel free to get out your blocks and to use them and fill out your sheet. So pause the video now and try to do the 4s and 5s. Alright, so hopefully you guys have given this your best shot, and you know, it's okay if you guys work together, but hopefully this is something you guys all understand on your own. So the answers that you should have gotten for the multiplication times table would be that 4 groups of 1, or 1 group of 4 is 4, that 2 groups of 4 is 8, that 3 groups of 4 is 12, that 4 groups of 4 is 16, and that 5 groups of 4 is 20. Alright. And once you've done this one row, you'll find that everything here, this box, this box, this box, and this box, you've already done the answers for. Alright. So 1 group of 5 is 1 times 5, and that's 5. And we've already done that same answer over here, where we did 5 groups of 1. Now we have 2 times 5, which is 2 groups of 5, and that's 10. And we already got that answer over here, which is using this 2 and this 5. Now we have 3 times 5, and that's 15. And then 4 times 5, which is 20. And now 5 times 5 is going to be a new one on this table, and that'll be 5 groups of 5. So if you did 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, you'd get a total of 25. And now that you've finished out this small multiplication table, you can kind of look at the patterns and begin to try to understand how multiplication works. So we can see that when we look in the 2 column, it goes 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And it also does that in this 2 row, which goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And now if you do 3s, it goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And it also goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So if you were to count with your fingers, every single time when you're multiplying something, you can skip the next amount of numbers. So if we're multiplying by 5s, we count every 5th number. So 1 times 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the important one, is a pinky. Alright? So then, to count 5 times 2, we'd have to count again 5, and then add 5 to that, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how we know that at 10, that is 5 times 2. So practice with this, and if you guys can get this small times table, then we can try doing it with larger numbers and see how that goes. So let me know if you guys like the video, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.